All right, so this segment of the show that has to do with the name of the show is Pegwarmers, and I brought this fresh from Target.
Nice.
It's the Masters of the Universe Sky Sled with Prince Adam, and it's already on clearance for half price.
I've been seeing these piling up. I think the last time you guys came in to shoot, you were saying that they were out there. I was like, I'm going to go check Target and see if they have them. And they had them. They had lots and lots and lots of them. I want a geriatric Dan Aykroyd figure, buy my vodka. What a weird thing to say in a children's toy. Like,
I have a friend that stood in a long line to buy one of those just to get his autograph.
So
it's pretty much the only way to get his autograph these days is to buy a bottle of his vodka.
Pegwarmers is the code name for toys and collectibles with high supply and low demand. Join Kevin and his team of collector commandos as they discuss popular and not so popular retro and current toy brands.
Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Newt.
And we're here to talk about toys.
Yes, we are.
In news, we have the Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out on November 11th.
We hope.
We hope. I actually just looked it up, and it was like June 11th. I was like, wait a minute, that's already happened.
Yeah, it keeps getting moved, and it's another. I am the host of Hack the Movies, another series on Screenwave Media, and we do movie reviews, and not well, but we do them. And we had our whole 2020 all lined up, and then it was like, nope, never mind. And now all these movies are coming out, and they're getting moved around, and now it's coming out in November. So I really hope it comes out in November, because I want to open this box of Ghostbusters cereal and pour some of my 2016 Ecto Cooler in it and see how that tastes. So if I'm never on this show again, it's because I died.
I'm pretty sure Hasbro really hopes it comes out then, too.
Yeah.
They've been storing a lot of toys in warehouses, I think, because pretty much everything has been pushed back.
Yeah.
Black Widow, G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, all of these things are Hasbro toy properties. And
are there going to be new toys for the new movie?
So there is a Ecto 1 based on the new movie.
Okay.
And then there's another line of figures that are similar to these Kenner figures. It's called Fright Features, the line. And they look like if they had made the original Kenner toys based on the original movie.
Really?
So it's like a cartoony Bill Murray and a cartoony Harold Ramis. Like it's not the like blonde-haired Egon.
Okay.
And then the ghosts, the pack-in ghosts all have a fright feature. So they like flip open and have a crazy mouth inside.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to look those up. I was like, are they going to make like a Wolf Finheart or what's that kid's name?
No, I don't think there's any toys actually like action figures like that. There might be a collector's line at some point.
I want a geriatric Dan Aykroyd figure, buy my vodka. What a weird thing to say in a children's toy. Like,
I have a friend that stood in a long line to buy one of those just to get his autograph.
So
it's pretty much the only way to get his autograph these days is to buy a bottle of his vodka.
I bought one. I got two of them. I got one signed for me and one signed for Justin.
Okay.
And I gave it to him as a gift. Oh, we should pour that into this.
Into the cereal?
Yep.
If you survive the first bowl.
No, I'll be a ghost, and then I'll talk to Dan Aykroyd.
Nice.
So yeah, that's Ghostbusters. Thanks for stopping by.
In addition to the Ghostbusters Fright Features line, there's also going to be a bunch of role play stuff, and it's neat how these toy lines are all more based on the original movie, but have slight callbacks to the Kenner line. So like the kid dress up Proton Pack will look more like a movie Proton Pack, but it's still blue like the old Kenner one. And the Fright Features guys will have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on the line. There's an Ecto 1 in the line. And they all kind of look like the old vintage ones, but they're a little different.
Okay.
So like even Stay Puft will have a fright feature, and I don't know exactly how the mechanism works, but you squeeze his legs or push his arm or something, and his body like twists open. He has like a marshmallow spinal column inside.
That's horrifying.
Sort of like a weird thing he does.
Yeah. Well, now because like in this, apparently the Marshmallow Men are like the minions.
Yeah. Well, Baby Yoda. We gotta.
Yeah.
We must have a cute version of everything now.
Yeah.
It proves to make money. I mean, somebody bought this box of cereal because it has.
No, we were given. Tony and I were each given a box of the cereal. I sent people out to look for it.
Yeah.
And nobody could find it. And then Joe Lascola from Movie Dumpster brought us each a box, and we haven't opened it yet because, again, the movie was supposed to come out in July, and we're like, we're going to eat our bowl of cereal because we're adult man babies. Yay, as I wear my Ghostbusters shirt. And then it didn't come out, and I was like, well, this won't be good by then. So, yeah. Plus, I don't think I need all of the things that are on the side of here. My body is already in bad enough shape.
It's got to be fortified with fruits and nutrition.
That's right, yeah.
Part of a healthy breakfast. You need your glass of milk and orange juice with it, toast on the side.
And then Slimer shows up, and he's a cartoon because there's a gas leak in your house, and it turns out he wasn't really there. Like,
all right, so this segment of the show that has to do with the name of the show is Pegwarmers, and I brought this fresh from Target.
Nice.
It's the Masters of the Universe Sky Sled with Prince Adam, and it's already on clearance for half price. So Prince Adam has been a peg warmer before in the past. The 2000X version of him did not sell real well, and I think they thought packing him with the vehicle was going to be the way to get an important character out there, but like actually move him, and it didn't really work.
No, I've been seeing these piling up. I think the last time you guys came in to shoot, you were saying that they were out there. I was like, I'm going to go check Target and see if they have them. And they had them. They had lots and lots and lots of them. And they were all on clearance, and it made me so sad because I was like, oh, this line is so cool, but really nobody cares.
And one of the things they did to try and help make these things sell is it's army buildable, because it actually comes with a good guy face and a bad guy face in the vehicle.
Yeah.
So you would think, the collectors at least are going to get at least 2 of them, right? Maybe more. And it's not keeping up with the demand.
No, and then there was that spike when the Kevin Smith trailer went out.
Right.
And then I haven't seen anything since then. I'm just like, maybe this, like, time and place, I think it might be the end of the Masters of the Universe, you know?
So the rights to He-Man, you would think it's owned by Mattel, but it's not.
No.
Even though they make the toys, it's owned by Universal. And they have this, like, long-term deal where they got to make the toys based on it because they actually created it.
Yeah.
And that's about to expire. So they may still get to keep making them, but that's all negotiable.
Yeah.
And so they're just cranking out anything they can put He-Man on. And I don't know if that's to, like, spoil the brand for the next person, because what are they going to do with it different? Or if it's just like, well, at least we'll sell every version of He-Man to the collectors before.
Are they going to bring back the New He-Man Adventures?
The New He-Man Adventures?
Remember that?
I do remember that. I actually met New Adventures He-Man and Skeletor at a Toys R Us one time.
Really?
And was very confused by it because I had not seen the show yet. And
he was like thinner with a ponytail and had more of like an anime style opening.
Yep.
Do you remember the sword used to make the ting sound? Yeah.
But it looked like a lightsaber?
Exactly. But then they just reused that for the Hook toys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so the role-play items from New Adventures, Skeletor's staff and He-Man's power swords, were actually 2 of the best-selling Mattel products ever.
Really?
Yes, they sold incredibly well.
I remember having both of them. Yes, that line was awful.
There's some weird character designs. They're just, like, poorly made toys. It was like a weird new body construction. The weirdest thing about New Adventures, though, is that the Demolition Man toys are repaints of the New Adventure figures.
So it was kind of that came out in like 89, 90, something like that. And I remember it being one of the first times as a kid where I was like, no, because when you're a kid, like everything was coming out, and you're like, Silverhawks and Transformers and G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters and all that, and you're like, yes, give me all of it. And then that time I was just like, no. Yeah. No, I don't think this one's for me, you know?
I really enjoyed Masters of the Universe as a kid.
Yeah,
I remember
too.
I never saw the New Adventures cartoon, but I remember seeing the toys in the store and was just like, if it doesn't work with the old ones, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I think if they had somehow made Space He-Man, but it like fit the old body style similar, I'd have been more into it.
Yeah, it's just a footnote in the history of nerddom.
Yeah. Now I'm picking them up without accessories at toy shows. Dollar bins.
I did see a Skeletor. We were at the drive-in the last 2 weekends for events.
Right.
And this guy had a bunch of toys, and he did have a Skeletor from the New Adventures, but he didn't take credit cards. And I was like, I would have put that on the set here somewhere, but, it is what it is.
You've got your collection of the retro Ghostbusters stuff here.
Yes.
Which is amazing that they're doing this. I love that. Kenner Hasbro is redoing a lot of these Kenner toys.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was happening because I'm kind of like disconnected from the toy world anymore unless I see something or somebody shows me something really cool. During COVID, like one of the only places that was open was Walmart's, and I have a cat, and I have to go get like kitty litter and stuff like that. And I'm walking through the thing, and there's like nobody there, and I saw Winston on the shelf, and I'm like, what's happening here? And I picked it up, and it was the original style packaging. You know, there's some slight variations, obviously the Hasbro logo on the back. So I bought Winston. And then the next time I came in, there was the other three.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I got those. And then I found out that they were doing this whole retro series, and that was phase 1. And then I found the Ghost Popper when Justin and I were up in the Poconos. Justin Silverman and I were up in the Poconos. And then Ryan, who runs Screenwave and was on SEO Toy Review, he found me the other ones that we have here, like Stay Puff and Slimer and the Toilet Ghost and the Eye Popper Ghost are wave 2. I thought it was so cool. I was like, man, like it brought back such memories because this is probably my second favorite toy line ever after Star Wars.
Okay.
So it always went like Star Wars, Ghostbusters, and then probably Kenner's like superpowers into Batman, into DC Heroes line. So it was like really cool to get these. So these all hang in my office now. I haven't seen the Ecto one in the wild yet either. But I would love if they keep doing these. If they did the ones where like they scream and all that kind of stuff, that was so cool to me, you know? So yeah.
So I've been trying to think about what would be the smart move for Hasbro with reissuing these things. And those Fright Feature ones seemed like an obvious choice because it was kind of like the second year. But I think those figures are probably really expensive to produce because they have the internal mechanisms. So I actually brought a couple of ghosts with me. This is the H2o Ghost.
I remember that guy.
He actually has a smaller part too, but they squirt water. And I was thinking, because it's very much like a dog toy, kind of like the Slimer and the Stay Puft, this would probably be pretty easy to reproduce. I also brought the mini shooter.
Yep.
And this guy, again, is very dog toy-like, and he came with a little ghost that would pop out of his mouth. So I could easily see these guys getting produced. They're very much like the Eye Popper Ghost.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised with the toilet monster because that does have a lot of internal mechanisms. Yeah. But it's also very memorable. Like, everybody remembers the toilet.
I remember when this was like 86, I think, was the first run of these. Because the cartoon started in 87, I think. Maybe somewhere like that in that era.
Maybe the cartoon was 86 and then the toys were out.
Do you remember like when new Saturday morning cartoons would come out and they would do like a mall show?
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember when Ghostbusters had like a mall show. Okay. Same thing with Beetlejuice. Yeah. The Beetlejuice cartoon. And we just saw those toys recently somewhere and they're super expensive, but I was like, oh my God, I would love to have these again. It just reminded me of that time period. But the ghosts might not be a bad idea because there was a lot of ghosts that were produced kind of in that Migos style after that, that it would be cool to maybe go back and do in the style of the Kenner ones, like the pumpkin head guy and all that.
They really need to make
and the Sandman and all that kind of stuff. So it would be kind of cool maybe if they spin off of these now to do it. But the
retro style, but characters that never got that would be amazing if they did that.
But the toilet was such an important one when I was a kid because when it came out, all of my aunts and uncles used to get me the toilet. So, like, you know how, like, when you were a kid, you had, like, an army?
Yeah.
Like, I would get, like, tons and tons of, like, Cobra guys, so I had an army. I would get a bunch of foot soldiers, so I had an army. I would get a bunch of stormtroopers, so I had an army. I had, like, 7 toilets. So, I remember creating my own bad guy that was, like, a plumber. And he had an army of man-eating toilets that would go out after the Ghostbusters. And I remember Batman and Robin had to get involved. Like, I would create my own mythology around it. So when I saw the toilet, I was like, oh, Ryan, if you see that in the wild, you have to get me that, you know? So I had a weird imagination as a kid.
One of the other ones I thought maybe wouldn't be too hard to do is Wicked Wheelie, because he's a pretty basic guy. He just has like a flip down thing, and even his vehicle isn't too crazy as far as like there's not a lot of gears and springs. Yeah. but he was packaged in a box originally. So unless they decide to blister card him, I feel like maybe that would keep him out of the line.
Yeah.
But I always thought this guy was kind of neat. It was like a little scooter ghost.
I liked, and I guess the Universal style monsters they probably wouldn't do, but that was another line that I really loved. I still have the original Frankenstein monster and the Hunchback, because the Hunchback would break his chains, and I always thought it was cool. I'm a big chain break guy. It's like I loved My Pet Monster when I was a kid, so...
I feel like if you had to go with that old Kenner line and what was like the most iconic that they haven't redone, Granny Gross
was great. The football player, who had like the football tongue thing in his back. There was so many good ones.
A garbage collector guy.
There was a garbage, and then Janine's car turned into a praying mantis. Yep. Remember that? Yeah, because it was late in the line. I really wanted a Janine figure and a Lewis figure, and they finally made them like way towards the end of the line, or even like a Kenner style. Do a Kenner style Gozer. Do a Kenner style Vigo.
Yeah,
that'd
be great.
So yeah, there's just I'm a big Ghostbusters nerd, and I know the last movie wasn't very... Ghostbusters 2 wasn't very good. Like, I did a whole video about that and got angry DMs on Twitter. But, like, there's just something so cool, especially when they make a kids thing out of it. And it's like, oh, it's just dudes fighting monsters who are also friends with ghosts. And I was like, what kid wouldn't want to be a Ghostbuster, you know?
I think Ghostbusters 2 suffered from the fact that this line was so popular and the cartoon was so popular. They had to kind of kidify it, and that didn't help it at all.
No, because the original script was about the Ghostbusters going to like Ireland or Scotland to like a haunted castle, because they're being like franchised out now, which is such a good idea. And he says it in the first movie. He's like, the franchise rights alone will be, So I was like, yeah, I get that they kidified it, but I would have liked to have just seen them not remake the first movie again, So, but you could have gotten a lot more monsters and cool stuff out of it instead of, what's his face as a nanny ghost. Yeah.
I'm still surprised Kenner and Deke, who did the animation, didn't work together more, because they didn't really make toys of the ghosts from the show at all.
Yeah. It was one of those things maybe that they just wanted to keep refreshing the brand with vehicles and different versions of the original Ghostbusters. Yeah. Like I was okay when they did the one where Winston had like the 50s sci-fi helmet, but when you got to the ones where you just put water on them and I was just like, nah. I like when the Joker did it, when you put his face in it,
That one, Turns line.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was kind of with this line until probably 90, when I kind of was like kind of out of it, because at that point it's like Ninja Turtles were like I was chasing the dragon,
So I had pretty much just one of each Ghostbuster as a kid. I had the original Egon, but then the fright features, the ones that would scream of the other guys. Only got so many figures, for birthday and Christmas. But I had the Firehouse, I had Stay Puft, and a bunch of the monsters. And then at some point, I just like sold all of it.
Yeah.
So, I was like, all right, I'm not playing with these toys anymore. And then years later at a comic book store, they were doing this like crazy Black Friday sale. And like all of the toys were 50% off. And I bought this like huge collection of Ghostbusters stuff from them. And it is just all those like repaints of the original molds. And I'm like, wow, they got their money's worth out of that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Now, my question is, as some, because you're someone who's in the toy world, do these hurt the market though?
I think the Ecto-1 might, because the Ecto-1 is hard to find nice. I think that people that are really into Ghostbusters are going to want to still display the original ones, which are getting hard to find because the Proton Packs break on them so easy. I don't think that the figures are going to hurt the market for the original figures, but I do think Ecto-1 is going to get affected by it, just because it's such a key display piece, and a lot of people are going to just say, why am I paying all this for a dingy one when I can go to the store and get a perfect one?
They do an Ecto 1A, which is just the same thing with different stickers.
Well, so I actually saw a video online where a guy got repro stickers up for the 1A, and he put them on the sample Ecto 1 that Hasbro sent him.
Yeah.
And he just stickered it up. That's the wrong one.
It was always getting that one perfectly on the back
the
window.
Is tough.
I would like get my dad to help me. I'm like, I don't want to mess up my toy, and But because I was wondering about that. I was like, when they do these repackages, at least like Skeletor is a retro version of a modern toy. But these, they basically went back. The only real difference on the Ghost Popper was that they added, they changed the color. They went from black to blue, which I actually really prefer.
Okay.
Because their gear was blue,
yeah,
and I always thought that would be really cool when you were a kid. Because I had the goggles, I had the pack, I had the trap, I had all of it when I was a kid. So when I saw this, and then they added to the side that you wear safety goggles because they don't want kids shooting their eyes out and stuff like that. But I was like, even the back, they recreated, the
target things,
targets, which I used to love when I was a kid. I don't know. These made me very happy when I saw them in the in the store. The only thing I never had was I never had a jumpsuit. I've always wanted a jumpsuit, but now I'm 40 and I can't justify having one with my name on it. But maybe one day, I've had a lifetime of really bad luck, so I never know when I'm going to need extra cash. Because oh, your spinal cancer is back. And I was like, well, I shouldn't have bought that Ghostbusters suit.
So one of the things that's going to help, I think, with retail or resale value on the original Ghostbusters is that from the front, it's very hard to distinguish these guys from the originals. But the backpacks and the figures have a different peg than the original ones do when you take them out of the package. So that at least keeps people from going like, oh, this is the original one. I mean, somebody could still be fooled.
Yeah.
But if you've done any research on it, if you are collecting them at all, you should be able to go, okay, this is the new style one or the old style one.
I wonder if their fingers are stronger, because I used to break their fingers off, and it would make it hard to get the gun to sit properly.
The fingers would break off, because most people have broken handles on the backpacks, the traps, or the Neutrino wand.
The Neutrino wand, And as you can see, he ain't afraid of no ghosts, so...
So the Neutrino wand backpack thing are really hard to come by. They sell for quite a bit on the toy shows and things like that. And when I was a kid, I didn't always want Egon's wand to be shooting, so I cut it off. And I kept that piece of orange plastic on top of Ecto-1 as if it was like another piece of wire that's
and then you just stick it back in.
And I would just, So I'm like, good job, kid. You broke your toy now that you're a collector.
Well, I guess you couldn't really do it. There wasn't the kind of... Unless the wire ran back. Because the original, Luke's lightsaber, you could push up and it'd be like, oh, I guess if it actually worked as the wire connecting to the proton pack, you could have pushed it through and would have been kind of cool.
I think it would have been neat if the rod... Because they have the arm piece and there's a rod on the back of the twist to make the noodle part.
Yeah.
If the rod had a... female socket on it, and you just stuck the noodle in and took the noodle out.
Yeah.
But I would put the proton pack and the Neutrino one on his back, and he'd have this giant thing that was so high he couldn't walk through the door of the firehouse.
Yeah.
And that's why I cut it off one day. I was like, this is dumb.
My parents still have the box to the firehouse. They use it to put Christmas decorations in.
Nice.
And last year when I was there, I was helping my mom put stuff up in her attic, and I'm like, you still have the Ghostbusters Firehouse box? I was like, can I have that? She's like, no, my Christmas decorations are in there. I still have in my box the Hall of Justice from Superpowers. That's the only one that I kept the box and everything for.
So my parents saved the box to my firehouse, and I had drawn on the back of it. You know, the back has line art image of what's inside the box. I took an orange marker the day after Christmas, and I drew slime dripping through the line art, and then went in my attic or whatever. And then when I was in middle school or high school, I traded the firehouse and the box at a vintage toy shop for a Kenner X-Wing.
Okay.
I was really into Star Wars toys at the time, and I'd always wanted the Kenner X-Wing. So I traded it for that. And now every time I go to a toy show, if they have a box...
You check the back?
I check the back. And I'm like, I will buy this thing. I don't need another firehouse, but I will buy it if it has orange slime drawn on the back. And I'll even message people I'm friends with people that have toy stores, and if they post a picture of hey, we just got this boxed firehouse in, I'm like, does it have slime on the back?
One day you're gonna find it.
One day I'll
goes into the story of an ex-girlfriend of mine. She has this story that her parents told her when she was a kid about why dogs sniff each other's butts.
Okay.
It's because one time there was a carnival and all the dogs in the world were there, and they all had to check their tails at the door, and then someone pulled the fire alarm, so they just grabbed tails. So every dog from that point on is just sniffing each other's butts to try to find their original tail. So it sounded like that.
All right.
I just went off on a tangent there. You know, it makes sense why she was dating me now that I think about it. So this is the last time I'll be on this show.
Dude, thanks for coming on. Gosh, what a wonderful guest.
There's just 12 minutes of silence of you just sitting here staring directly into the camera. It's like an art piece. You know what they need to bring back?
What's that?
The slime.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't. So slime is a super high sales item. Like it moves. And Mattel makes the best slime.
Yeah.
Like Mattel basically invented slime. And they make the best slime. But everyone else has their own formula. Playmates did. Ooze for Ninja Turtles a bunch of different times.
Yep.
I actually recently threw out my 2011 slime. I had bought the 4 canisters.
Yeah.
They get the 4 baby turtles out of them. And they like separated. It was like... It had like glittery stuff and it was green, and they were just sat in a cabinet for 10 years, 8 years, whatever. And like, I'd opened it one time and it was just like liquid, like water, and then like the glittery sludge in the bottom. All right, it's time for these to go before something weird happens with this. But yeah, I don't know why Hasbro isn't putting out slime.
It would make so much sense. He-Man and Ghostbusters and even like remember the Venom toy that had like the black goo that would come out of his chest and stuff like that. I was asking my brother's kids who were like little recently. I was like, "Oh, we used to play with slime," and they were like, "Yes, so do we, old man." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, it's back, thank God."
Well, now the kids all make their own. You buy these kits and you
go to like Five Below and you can get it. Yeah,
chemistry set. It's just some glue and contact solution, and they make slime.
I used to love pouring the slime through the top of the firehouse, like in the ad and stuff like that. And after Ghostbusters 2, when Ghostbusters 1 was out, I used to take shaving cream from my dad's like thing and put them all over my guys because they fought the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That makes sense.
And then when Ghostbusters 2 was out, they were always having the slime on them because my favorite episode of the cartoon is the one that takes place after the first movie where the Stay Puft Marshmallow got on them and made their suits come alive.
Right.
So they had to fight like evil versions of themselves. And I used to always get that in there because they would make the same mold. So I would put slime on the other ones and then they were like fighting themselves. I just had all these like deep things, but I was talking to someone recently about all these things I remember playing when I was a kid, and they're like, dude, I pay bills and have kids and stuff like that, but I'm really glad you still remember this thing you used to play when you were by yourself.
My friends and I did stuff like had G.I. Joe storylines that were very soap opera inspired because it was always playing like in the other room when we were kids growing up.
Yep. We had a whole Star Wars spin-off series that took place after Return of the Jedi. Like all this stuff we just created because when you were a kid, you had the movies and you had the comic books, and I was very canon.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I very much stuck to canon when it came to playing, and my friends would want to be like, "Oh, well now we're teaming up with the Rocketeer," and I'd be like, "Nope, sorry, that's not how this works." And then one day I decided to throw out canon and just open an entire world for me.
My buddy and I used to pretend the Ewoks lived on Hoth a lot. So you just use all those toys together.
Yeah.
You know?
We had the idea when we were kids that the radiation from the Death Star turned the Ewoks into zombies because we had seen Dawn of the Dead one night on TV, and then years later I saw someone had a shirt that said Ewoking Dead, and it was zombie Ewoks, and I was like, oh man, like I was so ahead of the game back in 1988.
All right, well, thanks for tuning into this episode, hanging on the pegs with us here. Thanks, Newt, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Let us know in the comments down below if we should have Newt back or if we're putting a ban on that.